This is another class, YouTube. We will be talking about inheritance. So what is inheritance? We are going to still continue from the previous exercise that we've been doing. So I've modified the question so that it will have the inheritance part. We'll be talking about it today. So let's read the question. The question says we are supposed to define a class, name or student with private variables or private what members, name and what age. We must include what mutators and accessors, which this part we've already done it. So we are not going to repeat it. The second part says we are supposed to define a class, name what student inherit. To inherit from what? The class cohort student. So we are supposed to define what? The function display info inside what? The student inherits to print out what? Student's name and what? Age. So let's start. What is inheritance? So I can say inheritance let me use this definition for now. So this is inheritance enables you to create a new class that will use, extend and modify what behavior defined in another class. So it means that we are going to what? Define another class that is going to what? Reuse or modify the function defined in what? This student what? Class. There are two things that we have to know. The class whose what? Members are inherit is called the base class. So in this case, the class student is going to be our base class. Then the class that is going to inherit from what? This student class is going to be called what? Derived class. They also call it the super. This is the super class and this is what? The subclass. So we are going to use the base class or what? The super class, or we'll use what? Derive or what? The subclass. You can change it. So for now, let's go to our code. So this member function will no longer be here. So let me delete it. Then let me go to this part. So I have to declare the class that is going to what? Inherit from what? Our student class. So it's going to be class, then student inherit column student. So it's going to be public. So in it, the member function that we'll be defining is only the display info. So it's going to be public, then student what? Info. So it's going to be void display info. So this is no longer of what? The student. So let me just, so this one is the method definition for what? The D. We are not going to change anything in it, so let me just uncomment this one. And you can see that here within it, I'm using what? The get name. The get name is a function and is public inside what? The student. It is not inside what? The student inherits, but I am using it inside the student inherit. This is because when the student inherits from what? The student, it means that it can use all the codes that are public inside the student without what? Defining it again. So now we can what? It means we can use the get name and what? The get age without what? Redefining it. So let's move to our int main. So now we are not going to create an object of what? Student, but rather create an object of what? The student inherits. This part of the code, let me change this one to get name. So this is the part of the code. This is inheritance. So one thing is this get age and get age and get name. Get age and get name, set age and set name. They are all what? Functions have only what? Defined inside the student what? The student class. But the student inherit is able to access it because the student inherit is a derived class which is inheriting from the base class student. So it has possession of all the functions that are declared inside the student what? The student's class. So it means it can use any function over there. So let's run this and let's see the outcome of it. But one thing is, I've defined the student info, but I've not used it. So let me use it here. It's going to be student one dot info, display info. So now let me execute it and let's look at the output. So this is going to be the output. The output is now here. So this is the output. So I will end here. Then we will continue from our next to our next tutorial.